Egun jẹ́ ohun tó ní agbára ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Nígbà ayé ìwáṣẹ̀ egun ti wà tipẹ́tipẹ́, mo gbọ́njú gbọ́ egun ni, mo dẹ̀ gbọ́njú mọ̀ ni. Kò sí nǹkan tá a lè fi egun ṣe. Àpẹẹrẹ kìíní, a lo egun fún àṣírí ọlà tó lọ tààràtà. A ń lo orí egun bákan náà, a ń lo ìyẹ́ egun fún ká lè máa rí, ká lè máa mọ ohun àṣírí ènìyàn.
This traditional healer is one of several across Nigeria who use vulture body parts in their practices. Last season on Go Wild, we shed light on the alarming situation faced by Nigeria's endangered vultures. Africa's vulture population has witnessed a staggering decline of up to 97% over the past 50 years. Trafficking of these birds, which are safeguarded by both local and international laws, serves as a significant driving force behind this devastating trend. And the widespread hunting of vultures for their body parts is rapidly propelling this bird to extinction. However, even though these birds are hard to come across, there is a widespread perception fueled by traditional and spiritual beliefs that they cannot go into extinction.
Igúnnugún ò lè parun lórí ilẹ̀ ọ̀tí ká gba ọ àfi kí ayé àtọ̀run bá parẹ́. Báyọ̀ bá ti parẹ́ bó ti kò lè tó àti màmá rí. Láṣẹ Elédùmarè kò lè parẹ́ lórí ilẹ̀.
Many traditional healers do not agree with the illegality surrounding the use of vulture body parts, but they are aware of it, so they exercise caution when it comes to being filmed or monitored. Although vultures were not present at the sites for us to observe, we were provided with phone footage showcasing vultures that had been bought by this traditional healer. After being hunted, the vultures are subsequently taken to markets where their body parts are sold.
Kémi bá fẹ́ ní dẹ̀ bá fẹ́ lò máa lọ ra lórí igbá nítorí ohun èèwọ̀ ni. Ọmọdé ò lè sìn, àgbà ò lè sìn torí ẹyẹ àwọn àgbààgbà ni.
While this long-standing practice has been passed down through generations, it presents a grave threat to the survival of these extraordinary birds. Dr. Stella Igbe, who spearheads the species program at the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, affirms that the domestic trade in vultures primarily revolves around their utilization for medicinal purposes.
There is, across the country, in different regions, large markets where there is trade of wildlife or wildlife parts, either for medicinal use or for other ornamental purposes. It's a very common practice, largely unregulated domestically. Belief-based use or traditional medicine is one of the major reasons why vultures are sold. Of course, you see other species that are sold for different purposes, but vultures are particularly sold for their medicinal purposes.
With vultures facing increasing scarcity and the growing momentum of conservation efforts, she firmly believes that this practice will eventually change.
It's a two-way thing. There is increasing scarcity that is also making them worried. There's also the conservation aspect where there is a need to stop the sales of these vultures. So it's either going to stop, whether because the vultures are becoming scarce and they can no longer access it, or they are ready to embrace alternatives to the vultures in their practices.
Nísìn, àti régún nísìn, ó difficult, ó le. Ní side north, igúnnugún wà níbẹ̀, àwọn ọmọ wúlò ẹ̀ níbẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n nílẹ̀ àwọn Yorùbá bí níbi kó yẹ pé àmọ́ pa ní igúnnugún scarce.
Markets in Nigeria operate without adequate monitoring by enforcement agencies, such as the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Agency, NESRIA. Dr. Igbe highlights that the NCF is currently conducting training sessions for law enforcement agencies to enhance their ability to identify vulture body parts.
There is the knowledge gap when it comes to government agencies, and what we've been doing is to try to reduce that knowledge gap in the conservation value of vultures. So the government agencies are trying, but there is so much that needs to be done. The transboundary trade of vultures, you need a lot, because most times they are not transported as whole species. They are transported as dead carcass. The technology or the knowledge to identify these carcass is one thing we are trying to also create awareness on for the law enforcement agencies. So we've had trainings with them, particularly NESRA. NESRA, the particular organization that enforces the laws on the trade in endangered species. The police, the customs is also involved, because you have transboundary trade and the customs are the ones in charge of the borders, and they are doing quite a lot in terms of regulating the but there is so much that still needs to be done.
Analysis of poisoning events in 26 countries in Africa found that 29% of vulture deaths were associated with traditional medicine. The concerning aspect is that the extent of the fetish trade and the consequences of unregulated commercial collection and illegal cross-border trade on threatened bird populations have not been adequately assessed due to a lack of comprehensive research. Nevertheless, the available data underscores the severe threat posed to vulture populations and their ecosystems by ongoing belief-based practices.
It is evaluated that a single vulture performs ecological tasks that is equivalent to $11,000 yearly. People understand that they used to see vultures, but recently people no longer see them. But they cannot connect the dots between the declines of vultures and what they are observing now. And it is tied to illegal killing of wildlife. So we need to ensure that we are protecting species within our environment. The key thing here is every organism that is created or that exists around us has a function they are playing in the ecosystem.
Vultures play a crucial role in maintaining ecosystem balance by scavenging carcasses and preventing disease spread. Their decline not only impacts ecological balance, but also has economic and public health implications. Organizations like the Nigerian Conservation Foundation have been educating traditional healers on plant-based alternatives. Actions like this are certainly important to save Nigeria's last remaining vulture populations. Laila Johnson-Salami, Arise News.